Hello and welcome to another online presentation provided by the Student Support Services program at USI. Today I want to introduce you to the Khan Academy, which is an online website used to introduce people to new learning experiences and videos and practice that will help engage them in lessons that they may be working on in class, or if they are just want to go beyond what they're learning in the classroom and experience new knowledge and things on their own. It's a great website to discover all kinds of new things. To start with, the Khan Academy was originated by a gentleman named Sal Khan, who started making tutorial videos for his younger cousins that lived across the country. He would create YouTube videos in which he would teach them basic arithmetic and post them on the web so that his cousins, even though he wasn't local with them and couldn't sit down and work with them, they could still go online and hear his voice and watch him work through problems, and he could help them with their math homework. What ended up happening is that people started viewing these YouTube videos and started leaving comments about how great and about how helpful they were. And so Sal, who obviously is very intelligent, has several degrees from MIT and Harvard, and he was able to develop this non-for-profit organization known as the Khan Academy, which has created over 3,200 videos, instructional videos, as well as practice areas for lessons in math. To basically, their mission is to provide a world-class education for anyone, anywhere, at any time. And so I just want to kind of give you a brief introduction to the website, so hopefully you could utilize it if you need to in some of your classes. First of all, let's start with the web address. It's just essentially basickhanacademy.org. And what you can see here is every so often, whenever they update new videos, they will post them here online. Now, this just to kind of give you a general idea of some of the things he may talk about. Even though I have no real idea of what differential calculus is or how to work it, what is interesting to me as I watched this video was that he was providing information and theories of Isaac Newton and providing it in a modern day setting where he was calculating the exact speed of Usain Bolt in a 100-meter race. So it was really kind of neat to watch the video and learn exactly how many miles per hour he could run. I'll let you watch the video and discover that for yourself. But this is just, again, just the basic homepage. You can see up here we have our basic login and my profile. And we'll talk more about these blue numbers here in just a minute. But looking forward at the subjects that are covered, probably the most beneficial subject on the Khan Academy is math. And you can see, if I click here, you will see all the different subjects that are covered and that have instructional videos. And the great thing about the math is they also have practice sections where you can go in and work out problems, and I'll expose you to that here in just a minute. There are science, and it's, again, all the curriculum that you're looking at. And this is basically going to be upper level high school and college content. So this works great with the students that are in our program. Finance and econ. Now, what happens with these science, econ, and history and humanities videos is that they are essentially just that. They're just videos. There is no practice to work on to see how you're doing, and it doesn't always get to be the most in-depth. It may not be exactly what you're talking about in class, but it could give you a general overview of some information. Maybe if you're talking about a certain war or a certain area of history, you could kind of get a general idea of what's going on there. And also they have test prep sections, and so this is, again, more for the high school, or maybe even for those of you thinking going and getting an MBA. They have GMAT prep materials videos, and I think there are some practices that go along with this as well. So what I want to show you is, if I was, for example, in a math class, I would come over here to the math tab, and if I was in algebra, I would click on algebra, and you will see a listing of all the videos. This is a list of the titles of all the videos that they've created specifically just for algebra. And what I could say is, well, in class maybe I'm working on two-step equations. I would just simply click on this, and what these are, again, these are all the videos, so it would take me in to a link with a YouTube video on how to solve equations. And what I'll do is I'll just play a little bit of this video so you can get an idea of how the videos go and how he demonstrates how to work through them.
Let's do a few more examples solving equations. And I think you're going to see that these equations require a few more steps than the ones we did in the last video. But the fun thing about these is that there's more than one way to do it. But as long as you do legitimate steps, as long as anything you do to the left-hand side, you also do to the right-hand side, you should move in the correct direction, or you shouldn't get the wrong answer. So let's do a couple of these. So the first one says I'll rewrite it. 1.3 times x minus 0.7 times x is equal to 12. Well, here the first thing that my instinct is to do is to merge these two terms, because I have 1.3 of something minus 0.7 of that same something. This is the same variable. If I have 1.3 apples minus 0.7 apples, well, why don't I subtract 0.7 from 1.3, and I will get 1.3 minus 0.7 if the x's or apples or whatever you want to call them. So is equal to 12. You can imagine that I did the reverse distributive property out here. I factored out an x. But the way my head thinks about it is I have 1.3 of something minus 0.7 of something. That's going to be equal to 1.3 minus 0.7 of those somethings, that x. And of course, 1.3 minus 0.7 is 0.6. 0.6 times x of my somethings is equal to 12. And now this looks just like one of the problems we did in the last video. We have a coefficient times x is equal to some other number. Well, let's divide both sides of this equation by that coefficient. Divide both sides by 0.6. Divide both sides by 0.6. And so the left-hand side will just become an x. X is equal to, and what is 12 divided by 0.6? 0.6 goes into 12. Let's add some decimal points here. That's the same thing as 6 going into 120. 6 goes into 12. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract, you get a 0. 6 goes into 0 0 times. This is going to go 20 times. 12 divided by 0.6 is 20.
Okay. So that's just a basic video. This is it's the general layout of how he goes through the problems and talks over it and really tries to lay it out so that it's very easy to understand. And so he does a great job of explaining things, and content that is much more difficult, he tends to make it pretty easy. What you'll see down here is that out of 750, there's 125 points out of 750. And this is in the same blue casing as you'll see up here. And what these are called energy points. And these points are built up and stored. Obviously, I've got 27,000. I've been watching several videos trying to learn a little bit of math. And what I can do with these points is I can go in and visit my profile. And once I go into my profile, I can take those energy points and I can change my avatar. And even though this may not be such a big deal for some of the college-age students, for the younger, even elementary/high school/middle school students, it's a big deal to be able to change your avatar to Mr. Pink, because I have over 10,000 energy points. So now I can change it to that, and you can see that that is now my avatar. And here you'll have what you see, badges, and these badges give you different things. It's just recognition for the work that you've been doing, and so it's just another validation that you're putting in the hard work that you need to. So if I went back to the video that I was watching and I said, okay, I wanted to now work out some two-step equations, what I can do is I can go up here to practice. So I click on the practice tab, and it takes me into this map of mathematics. And what you see is there are different colors here, and these are all things that I've worked on in the past. Blue means that I'm proficient. It means I'm doing pretty well. Green is suggesting that that's the next step I move forward to, and so obviously you see the green around here, and orange means that I need to review. So these are problems that I haven't maybe completed the whole section, but I need to go back and work on those a little bit more. So what I found here is if I can go into solving linear equations and inequalities, this is maybe similar to the videos that we were watching before, and if I zoom in closer I can actually look and see the individual lessons that I want to work on. So if I go to linear equations 1, and I click on the tab, and what I get is I get practice. And so now I'm solving for a variable. And I've got these colors over here to indicate the scratch pad, so I can come over here and select blue, and I know that 9x, he is obviously much better with the mouse than I am, equals 3. Well, I know that I want to get the x by itself, and so I will divide both sides by 9 and work that out. Now, what happens if I am stuck and I just can't figure this out? What I can do is come over here and click on I'd like a hint, so that it goes through and it gives you multiply both sides by 1/9, or essentially we're dividing by 9, and it shows you how to work through the problem. And if I'm still not sure, I see that I have one hint left, I can click on that and I can simplify it to x equals 1/3. Now, even though it's giving me the answer here, I still have to go in and provide the answer. So I go in and check it, that's correct. I got one green leaf. Now, what you see is the green leaves, there's spots for 3 here. And what you see is over here you have the number of problems still remaining within the lesson. So I can move on to the next question. And it says 9x equals 7. Again, I could do the same thing, and essentially my answer would come to be 7/9. Check my answer, see that I get 3 full leaves, and those are just basically kind of tracking to make sure that you're doing the problems correctly. So if I go to the next one, again, divide both sides by 5, 7/5. That's correct. Move forward, 5/5, which should be 1. Check the answer, we're good to go. Now, if I got into a problem like this one, obviously this is not any more difficult than the other ones, but I still wasn't quite sure how to do it, and the hints weren't just getting it done. Down in the bottom corner here, every time, there is a video, and they take you back to show you
Let's say
exactly
we
how to
have the
work it.
equation 7 times x. 7 times x.
So I'm not going to show you that whole video, but you can see on every page you've got access to a video. So I go through and work this. 9/3 is going to be 3. Check the answer, we're good. Move forward. 8/7. 4/6 is going to be 2/3. And that answer should be 2. Okay, and then at the end of the lesson it'll give you a readout of, okay, during linear equations I'm doing pretty good. I got 22 leaves out of probably about 24. And so these badges signify different things. The fire means how many questions I got correctly in a row without missing any. And the lightning means that I've answered questions in a pretty quick amount of time. I think their time frame is under 5 seconds. And so what I can do is, if I'm not quite sure about this, I can get another stack of the same type of problems and go back and work those, or I can go to work on something else, and it takes me back to the cosmic math map here, and you can see this is green, so that says it's suggested. And even though I only worked one set of problems in there, it wants me to go back and work some more just to make sure that I have reached mastery level. And so that's just kind of an introduction to the problems and how they work. Again, this is just kind of a brief introduction. And so the science videos, you could watch something on biology, you could watch things about red blood cells. And one of the interesting things that I've seen on here, and it's just kind of if you're needing to kill time or if you're wanting to just try to sharpen your brain a little bit, if you go into math, if you go down here to brain teasers, then what you can see is there's a list of, right now there's 9 brain teasers, and these things are not the easiest things to work out. And what you'll do is basically present the brain teaser and then tell you to put it on pause, see if you can figure it out, but he always goes through and answers the question for you. So it's just a really interesting way. If you like puzzles and if you like riddles and things like that, he's got some really good brain teasers. So hopefully this will give you a brief introduction of the website, and you'll be able to go on and utilize it as much as you need to. And just kind of like anything else, the more you use it, the more familiar you get with it, the easier it is to manipulate. And so hopefully you take advantage, and remember to go on to your OrgSync website and complete the quiz that goes along with this to verify that you've completed the workshop. Thanks. Bye.